Hello, everybody. So that was a great segue because this is a sexy story. So what you're going to want to do is pull a few cubes of ice out of your glass and prepare to hold it to your neck when we get to the sexy parts. There's also adult language. When I met my coworker at Big Star Bar this past Halloween, I thought we were about 50-50 chance that we'd fuck. I knew she had a kid and a complicated relationship with her ex-husband, but I also really liked her tits, and I didn't have anything else going on for Halloween. I didn't dress up though, it was short notice, plus I didn't really give a shit about Halloween. I know it's everyone's favorite holiday because of playing dress up and worshiping Satan or whatever, but to me it's just a lot of needless pressure. Although she did look really hot, she was dressed as Daria, which is a show I never quite understood the appeal of, honestly. It always just made me want to take a nap, but most cartoons suck anyways. It's a pretty garbage medium, except for Rick and Morty. Her Daria costume was awesomely slutty, at least as far as I remember that show. At one point she was jumping up and down during the band, and her titty popped out from under her crop top. She was wearing a bra, but it was still awesome. Did Daria wear a crop top? I can't really remember. I never actually watched that shit, but her titties were the bomb, that's for sure. Not Daria's, my coworkers. Her friend was there too. She was dressed as Daria's friend, whatever her name is. The one in maroon, or might have been green, I can't remember. I didn't actually recognize their costumes. I just thought they were dressed like dorks. I pretended like it made so much sense once they told me who they were supposed to be, but it really didn't. Hot as my coworker is, and she's pretty hot, she does have a bunch of stupid tattoos. And I don't mean her tattoos in particular are stupid, although many of them are that. I mean, that tattoos in generally are stupid. I used to want a tattoo really bad when I was in high school. A bunch of my friends got them. I could never really settle on an idea. I wanted to get something meaningful, something special, something different from what everyone else was getting. Some guys I was in a band with all got matching tattoos, a Chinese character that meant group. They couldn't understand why I didn't want to join them. But I was still pretty sure I wanted to get one. Maybe a giant koi fish on my shoulder, sort of like Bradley from Sublime. Or maybe some lines of Ernest Hemingway novel going around my calf. Or a big thorny rose on my bicep. For a reason I can't recall. This is the kind of dumb crap I would have done to myself given the means back in high school. Now my only regrets are cigarettes and weak math skills. Basically, I'm just not a tattoo guy. Honestly, I didn't really give a shit about hers. I just wanted to see her naked, which I did, and it was awesome. When I got to Big Star, we started making out on the patio. Not immediately. There were about a half hour of polite grinding during the show before we went outside and started making out. Her breath was atrocious. It was almost gamey smelling. It reminded me of bison meat, but I didn't really care. She basically rammed her tongue down my throat and then grabbed my hand and made me squeeze her titty. So what was I gonna do, stop and ask her to pop a Tic Tac? Her friend came over after a few minutes and rudely broke us up. She reminded us what a horrible idea it was for coworkers to hook up and how this could end badly. We both nodded in agreement and then continued to make out. Then my coworker whispered to me, "Let's dip." And we went back to my place and fucked. That's an expression I've only heard our students use, dip. I wondered if she'd gotten it from them. Did I mention we were teachers? Yeah, that's where we met. We met in school. I always wanted to have sex on my desk, and it finally happened with her. We were there on a Sunday. There was only one other person in school, another teacher, and he was on the other floor. So we locked the door, turned up the music, pushed the papers off like it was a movie, and boned right there on my desk. It was mostly on the corner of the desk, actually. Lying down would have been way too involved, and I couldn't push everything off. I have a document camera and some other essential things. But it was awesome. We fucked for a while, then she sucked my dick, and then I came all over her titties. It was straight out of a porno. Woo-wee. Sorry. This is where the ice might be used. We saw each other almost every weekend up until Christmas break, and we hung out in school all the time too. We'd regularly snap naked pics back and forth to each other, even during school. I even sent her a cum shot video from the staff bathroom one time. It was awesome. Eventually she came clean to me about the fact that she was still married to her ex, and that they still lived together too with the kid. They just slept in separate bedrooms. It shouldn't have bothered me. I should have broke it off right then, but to be honest, I didn't care about all of that, so as long as she kept on with the naked snaps and whatnot. I asked her if she still loved him, and she insisted she didn't. One reason she cited was that he apparently called her a cunt all the time when they had arguments, which I gathered was pretty often. So I started referring to him as the cunt whisperer whenever she'd bring him up. She didn't appreciate that, but I continued to say it anyways, just to try to get her to start associating him with the name, like reverse branding strategy. But then over Christmas break, she abruptly stopped talking to me. The last snap I received from her was a picture of her cleavage with the caption, "Christmas boobs." I replied with a dick pic. She never responded. The next day, she added some snaps to her story, which showed a smiling husband and a child unwrapping presents in front of a Christmas tree. It was the first time I'd seen him. He was definitely better looking than me. Taller, thinner, full head of hair. Asshole. Then a few weeks ago, we got back from the break. The school had a science fair, and she brought him to it, along with her kid. I took it as a personal affront. I felt used. I felt abandoned. I began actively putting myself in situations where we'd be near each other at work, just so I could ignore her, like in meetings or at lunch, that sort of thing. But here we are in February, and it's been months since she snapped me. And I've been ignoring her hardcore. But then, last week, during a staff meeting, out of the blue, while I was sitting right in front of her, actively ignoring her, she sent me a snap that asked, "When the principal beats off, what type of belt do you think he chokes himself with? Canvas or leather?" I said probably canvas because he's really into Boy Scouts. She agreed. Then later that night she snapped me again, saying that she was at Poison Girl and that I should stop by at 9 on a Wednesday when we had parent-teacher conference the next day. I went. Her friend was there again, so the prospects didn't seem promising, but then we actually made out a little bit, and I thought she might even go home with me. But she got really drunk and passed out in the bathroom. The next day at school, she went back to ignore me. I sent her a random dick pic during third block. She hasn't responded yet, but I think it's just a matter of time.